Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Vision Story with me, your host, Tierra Womack. I am so excited because, Vision Story is all about where we highlight stories of inspiring leaders around the world who are impacting those around them in their own unique way. And today I have the beautiful and insanely talented Lia Montelongo with me. Welcome to the show, Lia.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, of course. So let me tell you a little bit about Lia. Lia is a former fitness champion, actress, Pilates, yoga, bar instructor for Equinox. And what I love is that Lia is known for her iconic roles in the Mortal Kombat video game series. And so Lia brings a very unique blend of strength and artistry and resilience to everything she does. She currently holds the title of Mrs. Illinois Petite and is proudly preparing to compete at the Petite USA Nationals in July. Now, outside of the studio, she's a dedicated mom, published children's book author, and is currently working on her memoir to share her incredible journey. Lia also believes in true transformation beginning from within and that it's never too late to shine brighter. Okay. So again, welcome to the show. I wanted to make sure I read that because I didn't want to miss anything. But first and foremost, I grew up addicted to Mortal Kombat. Okay, so all of my friends and family too. So this is a very special honor for me today to have you on the show. And I would love to know, like, was your vision for yourself to always get into acting?
Yes. From a young age, I was always performing. If I was asked, would I think I would be a video game actress? The answer would be no. But yes, I was always, out of the gate from the age of 3. I can remember dancing around and performing and putting on shows and definitely enjoying the attention, but really enjoying making people laugh and smile and just, yeah, dressing up in costumes and putting makeup on. Yeah.
All of the things. Well, and I know that you're working on your memoir, so please give a bit more details into your acting journey, right? I know you've had this passion for performance from a young age, but if you can tell us a little bit more about your acting journey and what you're going to be diving into in your memoir.
Yes, thank you. I love this opportunity to talk a little bit outside of just the specifics of being these, characters in the Mortal Kombat series. The memoir is something unique because I'm blending not only the back story of how this opportunity came to be, but really diving in deeper into how I was preparing for the role. So really sharing like my workouts, my nutrition, offering some journaling options for the reader, which is a little bit different
Mhm.
than your I would say average memoir, or usually the formula of the memoir. So I'm trying to give a little bit more interactive participation for the fan or for somebody who's looking for just an empowering story.
Mhm.
Because for me, it was like, at such a young age, being just 19 years old, when the role came to me to play this queen that is thousands of years old. It's not only until now that I can really look back in retrospect and share how the character and the story of both of the characters that I portray
Mhm.
um, really kind of envelope into my life.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm diving in from a very personal aspect in sharing the spiritual growth and some things that really make a writer vulnerable. I'm sharing some deeper aspects of my own personal journey, still focusing on the character and the development of that to share for the more Mortal Kombat fans that are looking for that, but
Mhm.
really sharing more from a place of authenticity and giving a voice to those parts of us that we may shy away from, the
Mhm.
vulnerability side, the side of the not knowing what's really happening,
Yeah.
and then being on the other side of being able to share in retrospect more clearly.
Yeah, I love that. And I love this interactive take on your memoir, because a lot of times, you can read someone's story and it's amazing. But I think from the standpoint of you making that interactive, that's really powerful as well. So I love that. And I'm very excited to read your memoir. Now, you currently hold the title of Mrs. Illinois Petite, and you're prepping for Petite USA Nationals in July. So how did you get involved in the pageant circuit? And then how does one actually prepare, not only mentally, but physically for something like that?
Yes. Well, now being a Mrs., that me just recently being married, we're just about a year and a half of um,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yes. Something that I was not planning along my journey that has come into my life. So I'm a later in life bride.
Mhm.
I always wanted to be a Mrs. It was just something that I kind of, in the back of my mind, I was like, I'd love to do a Mrs. beauty pageant. I don't know why, but just, from a young age, it was something that I wanted to do. And then shortly after getting married, it was actually, we were about a year into our marriage, and I saw a post on Facebook, and it was from a grammar school friend who was sharing that she was the current Mrs. Illinois title holder.
Mhm.
And then I remembered that my first experience being on stage, I actually competed in the Miss MISS
Mhm.
Illinois when I was just 14 years old. And I
Oh,
thought, oh my gosh, is this really happening? Is this my full circle moment? So it is my full circle moment. I reached out to her. She said, yes, there's a petite division. Here's the link. Click on it. I submitted the application, and then just took the next step after next step, which was submitting photographs, filling out
mhm.
the application, answering the questions. And fortunately, at that time, nobody had claimed the state title holder
Ah.
nomination. So then I was able to step into it with a little bit of ease. And now I'm preparing to be on stage for the first time in quite some years. So, in regards of preparation,
Mhm.
this doing my hair and makeup, that's
Yep.
like putting a curling iron in my hair, putting
Yes.
makeup on again. I'm like, oh my God, are my lips too shiny? Um,
Not at all.
because it's just, I'm, kind of like 14 again in some
Yes.
ways, so preparing, how am I going to wear my hair? How am I going to wear my makeup?
Mhm.
Softening, not pounding the weights, but still working out in a healthy way, more focused on the Pilates and yoga,
Mhm.
cleaning up my diet a little bit. I have been
Mhm.
celebrating my new marriage. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, just having fun with it, but also getting a little in the mindset of, this is a competition, and
Yes.
let me see what I got.
Right. And
Yeah.
especially because you already had the title. Yes, it may have been as a teen, but it's like you have experienced that, right? That level of
Yes.
competition.
Yes.
So I'm very excited for you as well. We definitely have to make sure that we stay in touch with what you have going on, right, as we get closer to July. Now, let me ask you this. So, with all the beautiful things you have going on, how can people support you in what you have going on?
Yes, I would say the best way to support me is just come on over to my Instagram page. It's just at Lia Montelongo. I'm really using that platform to share everything that I'm working on, which is preparing for the pageant, but also working on releasing my memoir, all the other little fun projects that I have going on. We've got some fan signings coming up for our Mortal Kombat fans.
Okay.
And then also too, I'm diving into this new space and building out my nonprofit, which is aligned with my platform and getting ready for the pageant. So just
Yeah.
any way to come out and support, the best way to do is follow me on Instagram.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you about your nonprofit. So it's Mother to Mother Collective. So if you can tell us a little bit more about what that's about and how people can get involved as well.
Yes. So we are just at the inception of it. I'm still putting the paperwork together and figuring out how I'm going to align with different organizations. So if you are watching this and this is something that you feel called to, please do feel free to reach out to me. Mother to Mother is inspired from a single mother for single mothers. So being there in that, hustle and grind as a single mother. Now, as I mentioned, I'm on the other side of that, but there was, a lot of times when taking care of myself in a way that I maybe needed to, just taking a 5-minute meditation, to allowing myself to just catch my breath. This is really a part of my inspiration in putting care packages together, self-care packages, and aligning with different organizations. So right now I'm in the research phase, aligning with organizations throughout the state of Illinois that are working to support single mothers. Either they're living in these transitional homes, or that they go to these organizations to get support for themselves and their infants. And I will align with those organizations with these care packages.
That is so amazing. And I know that right now it's within the Illinois market, but I hope that this expands and, as large as you want, because, I was raised by a single mom, and I, at one point, was a single mom of 2 boys. And so I think that, when we think about us being able to care for ourselves as women so that we can then better show up as moms, it's important. And so I kudos to you. And so those of you that are, tuning in to this episode, please reach out to Lia if you own a business, or you know of a business that can partner with her on this beautiful initiative.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. Now, before we wrap up, I always like to ask why you think it's important for people to share their story. And what is one thing that you do daily that helps you stay aligned with your vision as well?
I think the importance of sharing one story really allows for the voiceless to have a voice. If I didn't have female mentors, or if I wasn't able to hear other people's success stories, or read other people's success stories, or
Yeah.
just read other people's stories and how they persevered, um, I would feel quite lonely. And
Yeah.
so I think it's really important that, you know, when we share our story, it allows for us to connect at a real soul to soul level. And I think for me, the one thing that I do on the daily is my career. As a fitness instructor, I'm of service. I show up. I don't really know who's going to be there in front of me. I have an idea because I have a community at Equinox, and I'm teaching at a couple other local smaller yoga studios closer to home. But I'm of service, and I'm within the community. I'm building from the community. And I think it's really important on the daily that whatever you're doing, that it's something that is aligned with who you actually are, so that you can keep your voice alive.
I love that. Being of service. I think that that is such a beautiful way to give back and also to receive, when you're in the energy of service as well. So I absolutely love your response to that question. And, again, I just thank you for those of you that are, listening via podcast or watching on YouTube. You will see that if you want to connect with Lia, you can reach out to her on Instagram at Lia Montelongo. So that is going across the screen. And again, I will spell that for those of you that are listening. So it's LiaMontelongo. And you can connect with her again on Instagram. Are there any other ways for people to connect with you?
I'm on Facebook, but Instagram is really my platform that I am super active in. If
Okay.
people message me, the chances of me responding are quite higher.
Okay.
Facebook, I always say, is for my friends and family. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Instagram. Okay, so everyone, Instagram is her jam. So, make sure that you reach out to her there. And, again, Lia, I've been looking forward to this for many, many weeks since we initially spoke. And I just thank you again for coming on the show and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody listening and watching, and hope to see you sometime soon.
Yes. Well, everyone, until next time, until another episode of Vision Story, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will be in touch. Ciao.